President, do you have, there has been a lot discussed about a member of the state school board who posted a very incendiary post on Facebook. I am wondering if there is discussion of any kind of investigation, either impeachment proceedings, which the legislature has the power to do, I understand.
One thing I wanted to do, and I thought of issuing a statement myself, and as I thought about it, Senator Escamilla and I talked yesterday, we had a meeting, but I wanted to be with Senator Escamilla today. I think we're united in this. Yeah. We condemn the action. We're looking at what we can do. I think it's really important that Natalie Cline make good decisions herself. We've seen that issues like this happen in even our body. I think it's really important that elected officials who are duly elected make good decisions, and what she did was reprehensible, and we condemn it and very strongly if we possibly can. And I wanted to be here united again with Senator Escamilla because I think we're together on that. So,
are you pursuing any kind of an impeachment proceeding or looking at ethics?
I think we're looking at those issues. We've had these things happen in our own body, and I think we want to make sure that the elected officials have the opportunity to make good decisions and give them some time to try to walk through this. But we're looking at all options like we do with everything, and we'll have discussions.
How would impeachment work?
That's what I'm looking at. I don't know if I have those details.
We're having, yes,
yeah.
Our caucus is getting also legal counsel through our caucus meetings. I'm sure the majority is the same. I mean, it is a process, and like the president said, some of us have been here, I think all of us have been here long enough to see some of this process, but it takes multiple layers, and it involves the House and the Senate. So I mean, our caucus is also having that conversation, but we last night had a meeting before the president's dinner, and I think we all agree how it was just shocking. First, it's a shock, and
disappointing.
To hear the family, I mean, just the student and what it's done to our community. We're hoping, I think, that like the president said, an elected official should make also decisions at this point on what to do, and it's just.
In case
do you think she should resign?
That's up to her, but I think when you think about this, no one should put anyone else's kids' pictures on Facebook, no matter what the issue. That's just not a good thing, isn't it? And you're seeing legislation done. Senator McKell's led the way. Social media is great. It's super. It's really been just phenomenal, but it has been damning and so challenging. And this is another example of social media being abused and being used improperly, in my opinion. And that's why you're seeing so many social media bills come out, because you see what happens to families, you see what happens to individuals. It's no wonder we're seeing teenage girls, the increase of their going to the emergency room for all kinds of emotional issues. From 2000 to 2010, pretty much flat. 2010 going up at like a hockey stick. This absolutely destroys people's self-esteem, destroys their self-worth, and we know what's wrong. It's
but
very
this is
damaging.
an example of an adult woman doing a podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so
well, adult or teenage, it's same effect, isn't it, Ben? Sometimes your peers, it's even worse. But it's wrong for an adult, it's wrong for kids, it is wrong. Doesn't matter who, Ben.
So I'll just add that, I mean, to answer your question, yes. I mean, that will be very helpful if she resigns immediately, and that will, I think, alleviate a lot of things. But in 2014, I passed legislation on bullying and cyberbullying, defining cyberbullying, where employees were also part of that. So like I said, we're looking into everything in our current statute. I think there are pieces in our statute that will protect, this student for being a victim of cyberbullying, which is considered cyberbullying when they use social media.
So to be clear, do you think Cline could be charged with cyberbullying?
So the one that's in our code for education, it doesn't get to the level of charges, but it requires actions within the Department of Education.
As far as charges go, one of the first people to condemn Cline's comments was Representative Kara Birkland. And I know she's in the other chamber, but in doing so, she also revealed protected information that's protected by law about the commission that determines which athletes can participate in sports based on their gender. Under that bill, that's a misdemeanor. What may happen there? Is that something that is being discussed in the legislature.
I think we're letting this play out, and we'll know as things proceed. That's a little early to try to predict that, but thank you.
President, what's your
Yes.
response to concerns that laws like the transgender sports bill and the bathroom restrictions kind of fuel a climate that emboldens vigilante behavior like what we saw with Cline against not just transgender people, but anyone who might not appear feminine enough or masculine enough or whatever?
You know, we've dealt with these issues, I think, in probably probably better than any other state. You think of what we did in 2015, even the latest bill that Senator Berkland sponsored. Equality Utah testified in favor of it because it actually sets up a privacy plan in school, tries to protect people. We want to try to find a balanced effort. We've always looked at trying to balance the issue. Sometimes it gets talked about in a very damaging way. And I believe most legislators and hopefully most Utahns have great respect, great understanding for people no matter what their situation is in life. And hopefully people understand those bills are not meant to try to demean or hurt. They're actually meant to try to give definition and help. And I think a lot of times they do it, and I think maybe the bills are misunderstood. But I don't think any of us want any part in that type of an effort. We love, hopefully, our neighbors, we love our children, we love those around us, and we hope we show them the greatest respect possible.
But this isn't the first time that someone has suggested without evidence that a student athlete is transgender and may not be able to participate in sports. So does the legislature need to take action to prevent that in the future?
You know, that's probably something we'll look at. Hopefully, you know, we set together a process, and Utah, Senator Berkland actually ran a bill that I think is working really well, that seems to be non-discriminatory, that seems to be very well thought of. It was actually, I think, at least generally thought positive of by Equality Utah. And it's the process of the commission. And we have the commission in place, and I think it served well. Hopefully, Utahns will understand that that process exists, and this type of action is not needed. Let the process work, let the parents decide, let the commission have access and do it in a very non-discriminatory but functional way.
So Senator Reeve has an amendment prepared on criminalizing accusations like that. So you might want to talk to her. I mean, she's working on it. It will be, when I say an amendment, it's because we're trying to find anywhere in code that you can bring that amendment, because obviously those bills already passed and been signed. But she is, or I mean, there is reaction to the concern of having people just randomly say, I think you're a man, you shouldn't be here, or I mean, whatever that is, accusations like that. So Senator Reeve is working on an amendment for that.
Let's take a couple more
Are
questions.
there plans for a resolution at all on the Senate floor about this? I had heard rumors of something like that. Are you aware of anything imminent?
There've been talk. I think we're looking at all options, and Senator Cullimore, Milner, Gibson, Vickers, and I'm on the dais a lot, so.
Well, it's happened pretty quick, so we really haven't had a chance to visit with our caucus. We will be having some discussions, whether that'll be today or not, we're not sure, but at this point, we don't have, we haven't found any concrete path on this, other than just knowing and how unfortunate it is.
We haven't
this
talked
happened.
about it in caucus, but I can almost guarantee you that it'll be condemned, and we look at this as a very, very, very disappointing.
Based on what you know right now, do you think impeachment is even possible?
You know, I'm trying to figure out even the processes of it, and so we'll know more, Brian. I mean, we'll look through that. I just don't know right now.
Will this be discussed in the majority caucus today? And will you have legal advice on how to go forward today?
It's not on our agenda. I'm sure we'll have some discussion. I can't imagine we won't.
As I just mentioned, we've got a full agenda. We're not sure if we'll be discussing it today. We will be discussing it, just not sure if it'll be today or not.
Do any of you four that haven't said yet, do any of you four support Natalie Cline or call for her resignation? Senator Vickers, Senator Ibsen,
I feel like these guys, I was appalled at what happened there. I would prefer that she step down, but of course, I guess that's her choice, and it's our choice. It's our obligation to look at aspects that we have, any tools that we might have to take action if deemed appropriate. But me personally, I was appalled.
Senator Ibsen?
I can't imagine anyone who's in a position to govern children and the affairs of children, to get that far ahead of them, so off the charts, it's just appalling. It's unbelievable that people that love and care for kids supposedly would go there.
Should she resign, Senator?
And
Well, that's her choice.
Senator Miller, should she resign?
In my mind, I wish that she would make that decision personally, but it is her choice. That's not our right to do that, so she has to make that choice for herself. I think having a child who is playing sports, posted on social media, and I actually don't care what the situation is just so hard to believe that happened. And we need to, but we also need to balance this with careful deliberation. I think we haven't faced this before. And part of what we have to do is to understand by law what the options and choices are, both for the State Board of Education, for the legislature, and for others. And, to some extent, we don't have these experiences very often. So let us be careful and deliberative in this process.
Senator Colmore, your thoughts?
Yeah, in this day and age where, as a state, we're sitting here trying to protect our kids from social media, I just find it wildly inappropriate that an adult would be posting about somebody else's kid and under any circumstances, let alone somebody who's on the state school board who's charged with the welfare of our kids. So,
You think she should resign?
And I would.
I'm like Senator Milner and Senator Ipsen said, I hope that she would come to that decision. Yeah.
But, and I would say, even if what she posted was accurate, it's wrong. And it's doubly wrong if it's inaccurate.
What about you, Mr. President? Do you think she should resign?
I'm gonna leave that up to her. We've seen this happen inside of our own body, and we've seen things happen. I hope that as elected official, she makes the right decision, but I'm gonna let her make that decision.
So if she doesn't resign, given your answers, we hope she does, but it's up to her. Are you likely to vote to impeach if it comes to that?
So
or?
Senator Milner said it very well. We're gonna look at this in a very methodical basis. We're gonna, like we normally do, we're gonna take all the information. We're gonna look at what we have the ability to do. We're gonna process it, and as we process it, we'll come out and we'll let you know the direction we're going. But right now, we're just trying to gather information, trying to make sure that like I say with many times, we measure twice, cut once. When we make a decision, we know what we're doing, and we're going to go through that process. And Senator Culmer had a comment.
Yeah, I'll just say on the issue of impeachment, we certainly have the authority to do that under the laws, as I've looked, but I think anytime you're dealing with impeachment, now it's a legal matter, and so does this rise to the level of an ethics violation that would warrant that? Because I would be weary about moving forward with impeachment on anybody just because of the political winds of the day. And so if this is in fact an ethics violation that rises to the level that warrants impeachment, then I think it's definitely something we should look at. But that's the kind of legal analysis that we need to look into.
And that's kind of the process I'm talking about we'd be going through. So, any other questions? If not, I'm going to move on.